Hello and welcome to Grandpa Snippets number 28. I have really been looking forward to 28. Not the snippet I think you'll like, but it's not the snippet itself. I'm looking to number 28. I have always been favorable to number 28. If I ran a race, I would say I want identification card number 28. Where did that come from? Well, when I was a boy, I passed papers in town, and number 28 was my route number. And I would pull up to the window or go up to the window and say, Route 28. And they would give me my papers, and I enjoyed it. So 28 has been kind of a favorable number to me. I always liked it. Actually, I was in the store last week, and the gal rang up my merchandise and she said, it's $28.28. I said, say that again? She said, it's $28.28. And I thought, wow, that just kind of rang a bell. It was like maybe if you were doing a slot machine and I don't, it'd be like, 28, 22, 28. And 28 also was when I was 28 years of age, is when my family was complete. I had my 4 children. The twins were born and that year, and had Randy and Cheryl, and of course Shirley, and so our family was intact. Anyway, that's enough of 28. If I show this to you, I'd say, what does that stand for? And you would say, well, probably idea. Because an idea sometimes goes off in our head like a light bulb. It just clicks on and it's an idea and it comes. And an idea is to think. An idea is also to imagine something that can be taking form, that can become real, can become tangible. So that's an idea. A thought that comes can be a plan. It could be a project that keeps flipping on like a light switch or a light bulb in your mind until it becomes more plain. It starts out kind of fuzzy, kind of a little foggy at times, but the more you think on it, the plainer it becomes. I assume that's how inventions many times happens. In a person's mind, it becomes a foggy idea, then more plain, and the idea keeps coming back. I remember my mother following ideas that she had. She was coming up with ideas because she was supporting her 4 children, myself and my 2 brothers and sister, and I had no assistants. And she would develop ways to make money to support the family. And one thing that she did, she made corsages. Now this corsage she did not make, but this was my mother's. For my grandchildren, this would be your great-grandmother. This was one of her favorite corsages. But she made corsages out of it was a wooden fabric material. It was a real flexible. I don't even know if this stuff's around anymore. But I remember she made, when I was dating Shirley, she made her a beautiful lavender corsage for Easter. It was really beautiful. And she sold those corsages. Other things she had an idea was that she would get ties that were plain ties. And then she would paint on these. She would paint beautiful designs on the ties, kind of like an oil type thing. I don't know what it was. But she would paint designs on ties. And she had all kinds of ideas. And she was quite crafty. Makes you feel good when you have an idea that comes through, you've done something with. I'm sure you've had an idea. You can probably think back an idea that developed that you had, that you worked something up and you became proud of it. You became excited that what you were able to accomplish. It may seem like I'm rambling on, but I have a point in what we're going to do here, so just stick with me. My dad never had a tractor. Always, I remember a team of horses. Sometimes he would plow with one horse, and then when he would pull the wagon, he would use the team of horses. And one day he pulled a big wagon out in the lane beside the house and invited me to get on. Huge wagon, and he said, "Come over here," and I sat on his lap. And he handed me the reins. I'm 4 years old. He hands me the reins to the horses. I look down. These are huge horses. And the wagon under me is a huge wagon. And man, what power was there. And I had the reins, a little 4-year-old. Of course, he had the reins too. He had a hold of them also. And man, I felt big. I felt important. I felt in control. That's the word I want to use. I felt in control. And so it came time to move the horses, and I can remember this day what I said, and I can see myself sitting on the wagon. And it was a beautiful sunny morning, sunny day in the summer, and I said, "Nicobods, Nicobods." Don't ask me where I ever heard the word Nicobod, but it just sounded like it was a good thing to make a move, and they moved forward. So I never forgot the word I used. Don't remember hearing it any place. Don't know where it came from. When I was about 10 years old, I remember that I would ride along in the car with Mom, and she would park the car, go in the store to get something, and I would scoot over from the passenger side and up behind the wheel, and kind of raise myself up as much as possible, act like I had driven the car. 10 years old, look out and smile at people, Just like I wanted to be in control. I wanted control, or to give the appearance that I had been in control. And then when I got to be 14, 15 years old, the kids in the neighborhood were accustomed to building soapbox derbies. I don't think kids do that anymore or build their homemade scooters. You created things you created them. And so you would take a couple boards so wide, and you would lay a couple down and nail them on the boards, make it wide enough that you could sit on that long board. And making a soapbox derby, you would make a hood over the front, make a seat back, and sometimes you would cushion it. And then if you wanted to, you could even cover the back. You would get an axle and two wheels for that axle, and put one on the front, one on the back, and you're about ready to go. You had the front kind of so it would turn the axles on another boards by itself, and a hand brake back here which you reach down, controlled the brake. It was pretty good. The way you would normally guide a soapbox derby, you would tie a rope to both sides, and then you would just pull which way you wanted to go. I wanted to do something different. I had an idea. I wanted a real steering wheel. I wanted the steering wheel on that soapbox. So what I did, I put a broomstick through the front, up to the front, screwed it on, put the steering wheel on it. Now I had to run the rope up and around the broomstick and down on the other side, and I could steer. Had a problem though. Never could get me on my idea. Was, when you want to go to the right, you turn right. You want to go to the left, you turn left. Never could figure out how to wrap that around the broomstick, wrap the rope around correctly. So if you wanted to go to the right, you turned left. If you wanted to go to the left, you turned right. You talk about confusing, and if you're going down a hill at a good speed and you're going fast and you want to get the brake and then you want to turn to the right and you forget and you turn right and you should have turned left, wasn't a good idea. Bad idea. In fact, here is a picture of me and my soapbox at about 14, 15 years of age. And so us boys, we made our soapboxes, ran them down the the steep hill, and it was a challenge, but that was a lot of fun. Things get a little more complicated when we think we can figure out things in our life too. We got ideas how we want to run our lives and how we're going to keep it under control. And then we say, world, here I come. Here I'm ready, I'm coming. One of the wisest statements that I have heard is to release control of your life. Dwight L. Moody said, give your life to Christ. He can do with it more than you can. Give your life to Christ. He can do with it more than you can. God was the one who made you. He put into you all of the talents, all of the abilities that you have for the purpose of bringing them out in your life and giving you the best life that you could possibly live under His control. So we have our own ideas. And that's all right. We were made to have ideas. But run your ideas by God to see if they're correct. That's what He wants for you. I remember having ideas, and some He said no to, some He said yes. And I found out by obeying them that things work out a lot better. So make your life rich and full by using all the potential that He put into it. And there is a Psalm 139, verses 13 to 17, which says, for thou hast possessed my life, my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knows it. My substance was not hid from you when I was made in secret and curiously wrought or formed in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being imperfect. And in thy book all my members, all about me was written, which in continuance were fashioned when as yet there was none of me, but you were putting me together, and you were planning me, and you were forming me. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O Lord. How great is the sum of them. The sum of God's thoughts toward us are truly great and marvelous. They say that the hardest thing for a pilot to do is to turn loose of their controls. When they're coming in for a landing, they've circled the field and it's time for them to come in for a landing. The hardest thing is to turn the controls over to the automated system and sit back and watch it land. That would be very difficult. I don't think I could keep my hands off either. So it's hard for us to take our hands off of our life and trust God with it to give Him control. But after 8 years, I want to say that's the best way to live. It's the one that works out the best. You are made special. We've been created to have ideas. Use ideas. But again, let me remind you, as I said, check your ideas out with God, for He knows what for you to do. So let Him be the pilot and you be the co-pilot and give Him control, and your life will come out fine.